HOA Karen ordered widow's flag removed, got banned from HOA permanently. The cul-de-sac was quiet, too quiet, until Karen's piercing voice shattered the evening calm like a brick through a window. That flag's an eyesore. Margaret, take it down or I'll do it myself, she barked, her manicured finger jabbing toward the small American flag fluttering proudly by the widow's mailbox. Margaret, a frail woman in her 60s, froze on her porch, her heart sinking as the neighborhood's self-appointed queen of order stormed toward her sacred tribute to her late husband. Margaret had lived in the Willow Creek subdivision for 30 years, her home a modest haven of memories. The flag, weathered but defiant, was more than fabric. It was a symbol of her husband, Tom, a Vietnam veteran who died a decade ago. She'd planted it the day after his funeral, a quiet promise to keep his memory alive. Every morning, she'd touch it gently, whispering his name. But Karen, the HOA president, with a clipboard in a vendetta, saw it as a violation of her pristine vision for the neighborhood. It's faded, it's tacky, and it's against the rules Karen had declared at the last HOA meeting, her voice dripping with disdain as she waved a rule book no one else had ever seen. Karen wasn't always this way. Once, she'd been just another neighbor, chatty and unremarkable, but power had a way of twisting her. After clawing her way to HOA president, she turned Willow Creek into her personal fiefdom, issuing fines for untrimmed hedges, unauthorized mailboxes, even kids' chalk drawings on driveways. Her SUV, always parked carelessly, had already crushed 2 mailboxes and a rose bush, but no one dared call her out until now. Margaret, still grieving, wasn't about to let her husband's memory be trampled. The tension had been simmering for weeks. Karen's first letter to Margaret was polite, citing HOA standards and requesting the flag's removal. Margaret ignored it, her hands trembling as she tucked the letter away. The second notice was sharper, threatening a $200 fine. By the third, Karen had escalated to daily visits, standing on Margaret's lawn with her phone, snapping photos of the offending flag like a detective building a case. Neighbors whispered about it, some siding with Margaret's quiet dignity, others too afraid of Karen's wrath to speak up. "She's gone too far," muttered Jake, the retired mechanic across the street, as he watched Karen's latest tirade from his garage. Then came the twist no one saw coming. At the next HOA meeting, Karen unveiled her evidence, a slideshow of Margaret's flag, zoomed-in shots highlighting its frayed edges and faded stars. But the room didn't nod in agreement. Instead, a new face stood up: Lila, a young lawyer who'd just moved in. She was quiet, unassuming, but her voice cut through the room like a blade. "Karen, where's the rule that bans flags? Show us the bylaw." The room fell silent. Karen fumbled, her face reddening as she flipped through her sacred rulebook, finding nothing. Lila pressed on, revealing she'd dug into the HOA's records and found Karen had been forging violations to bully residents into compliance. The flag wasn't the issue, Karen's ego was. The meeting sparked a rebellion. Neighbors who'd stayed silent began sharing their own stories, fines for invisible infractions, threats over minor decorations, even Karen's SUV flattening a child's bike without so much as an apology. Margaret, sitting in the back, clutched Tom's old dog tags, her eyes glistening. She hadn't expected allies, but Lila's arrival had shifted the tide. The next day, Karen doubled down, storming to Margaret's house with a pair of scissors. "This ends now," she snapped, yanking the flag from its pole. Margaret gasped, stumbling forward, her voice breaking. "That's my husband's memory." The cul-de-sac erupted. Neighbors poured out, phones recording, voices rising in protest. The confrontation was a powder keg. Karen stood her ground, the flag dangling from her hand like a trophy, her smirk unwavering as Margaret's face crumpled in anguish. Jake, the mechanic, stepped forward, his fists clenched. "You've gone too far." Karen, behind him. Lila held up her phone, live streaming to the neighborhood's group chat, the trampled flower bed by Margaret's mailbox, crushed by Karen's SUV, lay in ruins, petals scattered like confetti of disrespect. A wooden signpost, half buried in the dirt, bore a handwritten note, Karen's ego crushes honor. The words, scrawled by an anonymous neighbor, burned into the scene like a verdict. The clash exploded into chaos. Karen's voice rose, shrill and unyielding, as she accused Margaret of ruining the neighborhood's aesthetic. Margaret, trembling but resolute, clutched a framed photo of Tom in his uniform, her voice steady for the first time. This flag is his. You don't get to decide what honor looks like. Neighbors shouted, some demanding Karen step down, others calling for police. Lila, calm but relentless, read aloud from the HOA bylaws, exposing Karen's overreach. The crowd surged, a mix of rage and righteousness. As Karen's smugness faltered, she hadn't expected resistance, let alone a reckoning. Then came the fallout. The live stream went viral in the neighborhood, shared across social media with hashtags like Justice for Margaret and Karen Gets Karma. The HOA board, pressured by the uproar, called an emergency meeting. Karen arrived, defiant, but the evidence was overwhelming. Lila's research, the neighbors' testimonies, and photos of Karen's SUV damage her own violations she'd ignored. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president and ban her from future HOA roles. Margaret's flag was reinstated, and the board issued a public apology, promising to review all of Karen's rules. Margaret stood on her porch the next morning, the flag back in its place, its frayed edges catching the dawn light. She touched it gently, whispering Tom's name, a small smile breaking through her grief. Neighbors stopped by with flowers, offers to fix her flower bed, even a new flagpole. Karen, meanwhile, was ostracized. Her SUV, once a symbol of her reign, sat untouched, its scratches a reminder of her recklessness. Whispers followed her at the grocery store, and her attempts to justify herself online only fueled the backlash. She'd wanted control but lost everything: her power, her reputation, her place in Willow Creek. The neighborhood began to heal, but the scars lingered. Margaret's flag became a symbol of resilience, a quiet rebellion against petty tyranny. Lila, now a reluctant hero, started a petition to rewrite the HOA bylaws, ensuring no one could weaponize them again. Jake fixed Margaret's mailbox, muttering about damn Karens as he worked. The cul-de-sac felt lighter, as if Karen's fall had lifted a weight no one realized they'd been carrying. What do you think? Did Karen deserve her ban? Or was the neighborhood too harsh? Share your thoughts below.